Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
Hello, Wall.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, guys?
All right, dude. So I thought you would have been happy with the news that James Cameron is doing an Alien movie, but I guess not, huh?
I'm not. Well, okay. So for those who don't know what's going on, somebody asked James Cameron on the red carpet of, I think it was Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I probably said that name wrong. I apologize.
That's all right.
They asked him about Alien and whether or not he'd be willing to work with, Neil Blomkamp and doing this potential Alien 5 that
Right.
they've been talking about for a while. And they said, hey, would you mind giving him a call after Terminator and getting that rolling? And he was like, don't worry, I'm planning on doing that or working on that.
Yeah.
He said. Now, normally you're right. I would normally be happy about this. I'm not happy about this, mainly because of what we've been seeing out of this Terminator film that they've been doing.
Right.
I can't get excited for anything that James Cameron does because it looks like, I know he's not directing this Terminator movie, but he is producing it, and he does have a creative license on it. And my thing is, it looks terrible.
Well, didn't Linda Hamilton contact him because he's not there every day, and she said, "I think you need to work on the script."
I don't know.
There was a thing that they made a story about that. She called him and said, "I think you need to fix something with the script," and he did.
Well, hopefully he did because wow. But yeah. So I'm not really excited about that, and I've been pretty unexcited about Alien.
Is it just because he's getting older that it's just he's not putting enough effort into it, or what?
I don't know. I have no idea.
How old is he now?
I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
He's not. I really don't know, to be honest with you.
I mean, here's the thing. It's better than Ridley Scott, right? Or no?
I mean, I guess. I mean, because with Ridley Scott, I mean, I have no idea what the hell he's been doing with anything lately.
Exactly. So I mean, James Cameron?
Could it be good? Could James Cameron do it or give it to somebody who's going to do a good job? Yes. I'm not saying he can't. My thing is just I have no reason to be excited for this because the stuff I'm seeing coming out of his camp right now is Avatar and this Terminator 6 movie, and they both look terrible.
Right.
So, I mean, well, at least Avatar, I don't know how Avatar is going to look, but it sounds terrible, I should say. So,
okay.
But hey, maybe he'll shock us and it will be what the Alien franchise needs. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, I guess the way he said it means that he will be working with Neil Blomkamp, correct?
That's the way it makes it sound, yeah.
Okay.
That's the way it makes it sound, yeah.
Well, maybe that's justice for Neil Blomkamp because he kind of got screwed over, All right, so what about the Star Wars thing? Now, I sent it to you yesterday. Connor sent it to me. I sent it. I couldn't do a cast about it, but what the hell is happening? Is it anything really big deal or not really?
It is, yes. So there's been some concept art leaks. That's what that was. They're concept art leaks, mainly of like the costumes and creatures we might be seeing in there. Nothing really stood out to me except for the stuff with Kylo Ren, and that's where I'm disappointed.
Oh.
Now, I want to preface this by saying this is all most likely real because making Star Wars are the ones that put this on there, as far as I know, and they are, I would say 99% of the time, things that they say and show are real.
Right.
I don't ever remember a story of making Star Wars putting something out there that turned out to be fake or made up or anything like that.
Okay.
So this is going to be spoilers for Episode 9, even though, I want to stress that this is concept art, so that does not mean that what we're seeing here is going to be in the film. It's just concept art. There's a misconception between actual film art and concept art. Concept art is
the original concept art for Star Wars, at least what they pulled from Star Wars, it looked a whole lot different.
Yeah, so concept art is exactly what it sounds like. It's a concept of what they're going to do, potentially, but it doesn't always wind up like that in the movie. the best case I can give you is we recently got news that they're doing another art book for Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Right.
And the cover of the book is the concept art of Godzilla firing his atomic breath into the air, like we've seen in the trailers. And it looks the same. However, there are noticeable changes. So it's not like a 1-to-1 ratio. So that's really what people have to keep in mind when they're looking at concept art, especially like kind of like what Scott was saying. Star Wars is known for having concept art that changes drastically when it goes into
so basically when it comes to concept art, think of it as like the blueprint of what they set down thinking, okay, this is what we want to start with, and then we'll do nips and tucks here when we actually get an actual look of it, and it's like, maybe we need to tweak this once they actually see the physical or the general stuff of it.
Yeah. So the two pictures that I kind of want to, and we can't show them here because I know that this has been a hot topic online, and I know that Lucasfilm has not been happy that this is leaked. The two pictures that stood out to me, like I was referring to before, were both about Kylo Ren.
Right.
And they're not bad. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just a little disappointed in one of them because one of them I had a hope for, and now it seems like it's gone.
Which one?
The one that I liked was a full body shot of him in his kind of Knights of Ren cloak, and it looks very similar to what he was wearing in Episode 8. And I didn't have a problem with what he was wearing in Episode 8. It was fine. It's the long black cape with the hood, the normal black tunic. Nothing really changed there.
Is he walking down a corridor?
No.
Okay, then this is a different one.
He is wearing his mask, which is interesting.
Yeah.
The other, and that leads into the second one, which is the one I'm referring to that I'm pretty disappointed with it. His mask, his quote unquote new mask, is not a new mask at all. It's his old mask that has been repaired with what they said in the other leak that came out that said Kylo Ren is going to have a mask that's black and red, and it might be his repaired old mask. That's literally what it is. It's his
not
old
a new mask.
Yeah, it's his old mask with like red.
That's cheap and stupid.
And I looked at it and I said, I see what they're going for here, and there's a very heavy-handed kind of symbolism in this mask being repaired like this. I was either hoping for A, a brand new mask, or B, no mask at all. Wow. And so what they're and I was thinking about this before, and this is why I'm not upset with this if this is the way they're going. If you look at Kylo Ren's character, right, in Episode 7, whenever he was wearing that mask, he was in control.
Yeah.
Everything was going the way it had to go for the most part.
Right.
Every time he takes off that mask, something bad happens to him.
Right. F's up or something.
He takes off the mask to talk to Rey. She reverses his Force mind probe.
Exactly.
Okay. He puts the mask back on. He goes to talk to Snoke with the mask off. Snoke rips him a new one.
Right.
Okay. He puts the mask back on when he's looking for Rey. He's got everybody looking for her, and they almost find her. He takes the mask off when he's talking to Han Solo. Completely breaks his soul. Completely. Loses to Rey in their fight. No mask, nothing, right? Go to Episode 8. He's got the mask on when he goes to talk to Snoke. Everything's going okay until Snoke says, take off the mask.
Yeah.
Takes off the mask. Snoke force lightnings him. And then he destroys the mask. And from there, everything goes wrong for him. Now, he's put the mask back together. And he's assumingly going to wear this repaired mask in Episode 9.
Does he feel that the mask wearing it's going to make him victorious?
I don't think there's I don't think that's his, I don't think he thinks that. Mm-hmm. But I think what they're trying to tell the audience is this mask is a symbol of who he wants to be.
Right.
And in 7, it was fine. 8, he's not wearing it, and all these things happen to him. And now 9, it's broken, it's shattered, and this is a representation of him.
But he should be unstoppable, though, with no mask on.
No, that's not the thing, though. It's that what they're trying to tell you is that he's barely holding himself together.
Okay.
And that's why this mask is all destroyed, but it's being repaired. And you notice that what he used to repair it is red. And the colors of the First Order are black and red.
Right.
So it's almost like he's trying to use the First Order to hold himself together when it's barely doing it.
Right.
So I get the idea that you're trying to push forward. It's just, where have we, like, I don't feel like there's any growth with this mask being the same one from 7. You know, it's very, okay.
I mean, you know how I feel about the mask.
Yeah.
I think he needs to have it, period. But I don't like the idea of, see, the thing is, I don't really see the need of having a new mask. And I just wish they would have just gave him an old mask that he had. Instead of like having a red in it and stupid shit in it. It's like freaking C-3PO's red arm. Like, or it's effing dumb. So, like, just for an action figure, I would have rather just have him regular Kylo Ren mask, and that's it.
Well, this has more, I mean, this has more of a reason than the C-3PO red arm thing.
No, I know, but that's just, I just expect him to be unstoppable the way he's meant to be.
But he's not meant to be unstoppable, though.
Well, I mean, not that he's meant to be unstoppable. He was always great when he had the mask on, like you said.
Well, yeah, he was more in control of himself when he had that mask on, because right. I think he the character, not Adam Driver, the character of Kylo Ren, I think he feels more confident when he has that mask on, because he feels like if he doesn't, he's exposed, and when he's exposed, that light side of him comes out, and that's what he doesn't want.
I see.
So I get what this is actually a very intelligent thing that J.J. Abrams or whoever put this into effect is doing, and I understand why they're doing it. It's just, to me, I thought the idea of having a new mask would show this is a new Kylo Ren because he's the supreme leader.
Right.
Now it's kind of like he took a step backwards, which maybe that's
flaws are there, and they're there for everybody to see.
Yeah. But hey,
so it makes you wonder whether he was the one that chose the mask or somebody gave it to him and go, use this one until he gets you a new one.
I don't know who's going to get him a new one because he's in charge.
Yeah, he is in charge. I was going to tell him wear this.
Yeah, he's the guy,
No, I'm just saying this is like a temporary mask till they get him a new one.
Well, who the hell would be building him one anyway?
Maybe, I don't know, because if this, I mean, I could understand that if this was episode 8, and then like, oh, okay, 9 he's going to have something new, but now this is the end. This is the end of the trilogy. So we don't even know if we're ever going to see Kylo Ren again. He might not make it out of this movie, Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It looks good. I like the way it looks. It's just, I was expecting something more than like a red duct taped mask,
Well, that's another thing I want to talk about is all this stuff that's coming out about Star Wars 9 is this nonsense about cloning, and you heard about that nonsense about the Knights of Ren clones and Rey's a clone and this one's a clone.
I've heard that theory since episode 7 came out. And the theory stems from the line that Kylo Ren says to General Hux.
Yes.
On the
I remember that.
The Finalizer, I think, is his Star Destroyer. He says perhaps the Supreme Leader should consider using a clone army.
Right.
And immediately when he said that, people were like, oh, that means somebody's a clone. And it's like, that doesn't necessarily mean that. It was just a thing.
It's like maybe they still employ that somewhere.
So the Empire stopped using clones shortly after the Clone Wars.
Yeah, but somebody's still using them.
Potentially. The idea of cloning in Star Wars is still a thing, and it's still a thing that they could do.
Right.
But I as far as I know, I believe the Emperor stopped using using clones, because I don't think he wanted the soldiers to be what the clones were. So he just
couldn't Snoke that they killed be a clone?
Potentially. However, it's been a rule in Star Wars that
it's got to go get water. Yeah.
It's genuinely very, very difficult to clone a Force user.
Oh. So like when they in the books when they cloned them, they weren't the same, right?
Well, in the ones that Palpatine had in the Legends canon, they worked. The problem was that the bodies didn't last very long.
Oh, but they actually believed that they were the real ones?
No, because his soul would go to each body. He used the Force
Palpatine.
essence transfer. Yeah. Essence transfer is a thing that was in the old canon that I would not be surprised if we see again. And I think that would be a very intelligent way for Snoke to come back. Mm-hmm. Is that, yes, his body died. He did die. But he could potentially use a new I say new version because they would probably change it a bit in the new canon, but it would be a new version of this Force ability known as essence transfer, where a Force user that's powerful enough can literally transfer their consciousness into another body.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that he tries to do. And I think it would be really interesting if he tried to do it to Rey, to take her body, because she's more powerful than Kylo Ren as far as we know.
But wouldn't Snoke just have to have a clone body of his form before he got wrecked? And just
not necessarily. No, not necessarily. Now, you know what would be interesting? With all these rumors that Matt Smith is playing a young Palpatine.
Playing Snoke.
What would be interesting is if Snoke had a clone of Palpatine's body and he went into that body and it was Matt Smith.
Wait, so the Emperor having a clone?
Sure. So we know in the canon story that Snoke was calling out to Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
And Palpatine was the only one that could hear Snoke's call. He even asked Vader, he said, "Do you feel this presence that I feel?" And Vader said, "I don't know what you're talking about."
So Snoke was technically more powerful than the Emperor?
They're trying to say that. I personally don't believe so. I think that they were on the same level. But
I don't think so.
What would be interesting, though, is if Snoke was calling to Palpatine, because Palpatine was obviously more powerful than Vader. If he was calling to Palpatine to try and lure him to the unknown regions to do an essence transfer to him and take his body, finding out that Palpatine died, maybe he employed somebody, maybe the clone is on Kamino or something, to clone Palpatine's body so that he could essence transfer into that, and it would be much easier because A, you don't have to worry about Palpatine fighting back, and B, it's a younger body.
Well, why wouldn't, if there was, okay, so here's the thing now. The Emperor dies, right? So he can't just go into somebody's body, the Emperor, right? Unless he has a clone body, right? And
that's what they did in the Legends canon, yeah.
So he didn't have a clone body, so he just went, like his spirit went to wherever, right?
In canon, the Emperor is dead. He didn't know essence transfer apparently in the
he's
canon.
Done.
Yes, as far as we know, yes.
He can't come back. He's not, no body, nothing.
Again, as far as we know.
If they cloned his body, then he's not a threat because he can't take over. It's not like a spirit possessing the body. So Snoke could inhabit Matt Smith's body.
Yeah.
Which is like maybe Palpatine's.
Which would be Palpatine's body, just a younger version. I'm just throwing that out there as like, maybe defeat.
But wouldn't that just confuse the shit out of people if they start mentioning Palpatine?
Not necessarily.
Why can't Matt Smith just be a clone of Snoke and then he goes in there or something?
I mean, anything's possible, but
yeah.
I'm just saying, personally, if you ask me, I think Snoke's dead. I think he's gone.
So now, is the thing that they have to team up against a bigger threat, is that real too or no?
I want to say that I think it could be real, because we all know J.J. Abrams doesn't like to give us a coherent ending.
Right.
Fortunately. And there's been a very interesting thing in canon that they've kind of been alluding to but haven't like gone fully into, is that the Grand Admiral Thrawn's species, the Chiss, their planet is on the edge of the galaxy. So they kind of have a view into unknown space from where they are. And they always say that there are things out there that we don't know about, that if they ever came here, it would be a big problem. Now, in the old canon, in the Legends canon, there was, of course, the Yuuzhan Vong, which were a species that came from outside the known galaxy, and they were basically invisible to the living force. So they basically could negate the force. And they invaded Coruscant, and Luke and Leia and Han it was hell to get rid of these things. It was like it's a huge storyline in the Legends canon. It's not one that I personally enjoy because it gets very weird at times. Could they do something like that? Absolutely. And I think that honestly could be a great way to start the next trilogy, because that's a whole new type of villain. You're not just relying on.
So the Force won't work.
Exactly.
So they can't be anybody with the Force.
Exactly. So
you have to be regular people.
And I mean, you can use lightsabers and stuff against them,
right.
But you know, it would be an interesting idea, because now you have Rey, and I'm assuming if Kylo Ren survives, they basically have to figure out what are we going to do
without the Force.
Yeah. So
which is interesting.
It could be a really interesting. I've been an advocate for a main villain in Star Wars to either be a non-Force sensitive who is skilled in something like Teräs Käsi or something like that, or some kind of alien beings like the Yuuzhan Vong that can negate the Force or use the Force in a different way, and it's not quote unquote the dark side, because I think it's always the dark side, the villain. It's the Sith. It's the Knights of Ren. Dark side users, and after a while, it's like, yeah, okay, we got it. You know, like the dark side is bad. We get it. You know, so I would be all for like a type of Yuuzhan Vong or something like that to be the next villains in the next trilogy. You know, whatever they want to do.
That's fair enough. All right. So now I want to go into another story, Chris. How did the success of Aquaman lead the DC EU, whatever it is, into making this idea that they're not going to do Aquaman 2, they're going to do a spin-off horror movie based in Aquaman's... Yeah, where the hell did this come from?
Okay, so I think I know, and I don't have any evidence to back this up, so I could be completely wrong. But to me, this makes the most sense.
Why?
It's very simple. No, not this. Like what I'm about to say makes the most sense to me. And it's very simple. I can sum it up literally in 2 sentences. Or 3, actually. Aquaman did very well.
Okay.
James Wan is a horror director.
Okay.
James Wan pitched the idea of doing a horror movie in the Aquaman universe. That's it. That's most likely what happened.
So it's not even the DC universe; it's the sub-universe, like of Aquaman's area.
It's connected to the larger universe, but it's more focused in the Aquaman story, I should say. So, it's a very weird idea, but I think it's because James Cameron has done successful horror movies. Or excuse, did I say James Cameron? I meant James Wan. James Wan has done successful horror movies in the past.
Well, let me ask you a question just related to that. We heard the word that Shazam had some issues because the guy that is doing Shazam did Lights Out. And technically, without even asking them, he put the actual living survivors of that movie in Shazam as those characters. And possibly the fucking demon creature in Shazam. So my question is, one, is that going to stay in there? Two, if it's going to stay in there, does that mean that DC has the intentions of switching gears and having horror stuff mixed with the superheroes doing something else?
If they did, it could be a perfect lead-in to not Dark.
I mean, Chris, what do you think's happening?
Okay, so I think I know where Scott's going with that, and that's actually what I was going to say is like an outlier possibility,
yeah,
which I actually do think is a possibility.
With Deadman, Zatanna, and them.
Yeah, so no, I don't think that's going to stay in the film. I think they're going to cut it if they haven't already cut it. And if it is still in the film, I don't think it's going to lead to anything. I think it's just going to be an Easter egg because the director was a part of the other film.
Okay.
I don't think that it's going to be anything specific because if I'm hearing this correctly, there was an Easter egg to Annabelle in Aquaman.
Yeah.
And it was just an Easter egg. It didn't matter.
What was it?
It's kind of like R2-D2 showing up in Star Trek.
Well, what was it, though? Annabelle was in it?
I think Annabelle was like underwater or something. Like the
I
dog
forget what scene, but she was in there, yeah.
Yeah.
In the water?
She was caught in like a water vortex or something.
Yeah.
Annabelle. Doll.
Yeah, the doll. Yeah.
Oh.
So
Like
I
Godzilla's
want
in
to
Star
like
Wars
and miss it
Rogue One?
bits, but still.
yeah, exactly. Like Godzilla's in Rogue One. We made the joke that that means Godzilla's in the Star Wars. It doesn't. It's
Right.
just, So I think that's what it is. However, going on what Scott was saying, I never saw Lights Out, but I heard that the thing in Lights Out was apparently a demon.
Mm-hmm.
John Constantine.
Yep.
That's how you enter that in there.
Yep.
I see.
It's a demon. John Constantine deals with demons. I mean, it's.
And who would be Constantine? The one from the TV series, or?
No, I think they would
They
completely
get
recast
somebody
him.
new.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Keanu Reeves then.
No.
No.
So I mean that's a slippery slope to kind of go on because now you're getting really kind of weird with your stuff there with DC. But
Yeah.
Again, I think it wouldn't surprise me if they came out and they were like, oh yeah, John Constantine that's the reason because a lot of people think, oh, Aquaman did well, Wonder Woman did well, DC is still a mess.
Yeah.
It is an absolute mess, and my proof of that is what's happening with Henry Cavill right now.
See, now here's the thing. Remember how you told me that he was signed for a couple movies, and then we're hearing stuff that he's not signed, that there's a lie about him asking for this, and he didn't sign anything. I mean, if he did sign 3 movies, like I'm just saying hypothetically, I would think it would be Man of Steel 2, Man of Steel 3, or even a joint movie with The Flash, because maybe they don't feel comfortable with The Flash having his own movie.
Well, the story now that is apparently, like, out of all of these is the most credible, is that he's re-signing with them. However, he has several demands before he signs on the dotted line.
But he said that's baloney.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Because
what about the rumor that Soups might be in Shazam?
No,
well,
he's not.
They said that there's going to be a cameo, but it's not what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's what
he said no. That's where the whole thing started, where he was out.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do it.
Apparently, if this is true, he's asking to be paid more, which, based on what he made for Man of Steel, I could completely understand why.
Okay.
And he said that he's not signing anything until they have an approved director and an approved script.
So what's wrong with that?
Nothing. I think he's absolutely right if that's true.
Yeah, because you don't want to.
I understand. I completely understand where he's coming from.
But why would DC make a fucking complaint about that? Like, Warner Brothers. What will they be upset about?
Well, I mean, because they want to have all their toys in the box, and one of them has escaped the box.
And they don't want to share right now.
So.
Okay.
It's really, to me, ludicrous. I know it's just a film, but it's ludicrous to me that Henry Cavill made Man of Steel in what, 2013?
Mm-hmm.
It's 2019.
I know.
There's no Man of Steel 2.
And look how soon the second Christopher Reeve one was put out.
I know. I agree with you, Chris.
I mean, okay, I understand that they did Batman versus Superman and Justice League, but that did nothing. It did no favors for Superman.
Correct.
And I'm not like a huge Superman fan, but this is Superman. This is the superhero.
I know.
Yeah.
This is like the genesis of superheroes.
Right.
It's like one of your grandparents of comics.
Yeah.
Just like Fantastic Four is the grandparents of Marvel.
Right. Well,
so you would think that by having this guy.
So I think their priorities are so effed up.
They are.
They like Supergirl. Why would you make a Supergirl movie? Go do Man of Steel 2. Don't do Supergirl. Supergirl's on TV. Leave her alone.
Well, and again,
you don't need to do that, though. They don't need to do that.
It's exactly what I was just about to say, basically exactly what Scott just said. I'm going to get political for a second, but it's because of this whole, we have to have women in everything.
Forget this garbage, because, okay, so this is what I'm saying with Marvel, with the Captain Marvel thing, that they got to beat Wonder Woman. And ask anybody, that's what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. They said, we have to have our female movie be better than Wonder Woman. It's an ego thing.
I'm sorry, it's not going
It's a completely ego thing. Ego through the roof. Okay? You have to see this shit that I'm seeing with the merchandising and everything.
The fact that Aquaman beat Wonder Woman tells you something. Well,
that's the thing. So now, I mean, we know obviously that the Wasp is not the go-to one that's going to be Wonder Woman. Because Ant-Man and the Wasp, while it was a success, and it beat the first Ant-Man, it wasn't like dramatic Wonder Woman numbers, okay? Black Widow should have been the movie that they made, but instead they're doing Captain Marvel. I still don't think that Captain Marvel will beat Wonder Woman. I don't think it's anywhere near that. But Marvel will try again immediately. Black Widow is on board. Let's go. And it's an obsession. It's an obsession that's going to screw them up. They're going to take 10 years of Marvel history and they're going to throw it in their toilet so that way they can have that one shining, defining moment that a woman, Captain Marvel, beats Thanos. And then every single fan is going to cry bullshit. And then this is going to be the friggin' beginning of the end where the whole entire MCU is going to slide because people are going to be pissed. They wasted this garbage on a political agenda or movement or whatever, and they could have just, how do you build up all these characters? And then it needs to be Iron Man or Cap that beats Thanos. And then this woman just comes in here and done. We don't need that. Yeah,
she beats him with a snap. Oh, sorry.
I mean, that's just, and I'm telling you, it's going to be bullshit if that happens. But,
so it's girl power. That's why they're wanting to put Supergirl out before another Superman.
There was something else I wanted to talk to Chris about. Oh, okay. This is the last thing because we got 5 minutes. So we're hearing stuff that Dark Phoenix is a complete disaster.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So what the hell are they going to do?
3 previews. Everybody come out and is pretty much going.
People completely hate the movie in the screenings. They screened it 3 times. They did 3 rounds. I believe 2 rounds of reshoots or 3. Now, here's the problem. I heard that they sent them for reshoots again. But here's the thing. They can't reshoot it because they're all making effing movies.
Yeah.
So, Chris, what do you do with it?
You put it.
You scrap it?
You can't scrap it at this point.
It has to come out.
It does. And you want to know why I'm not upset about this at all?
Why?
It's because these people moved this movie to put it in competition with Godzilla King of the Monsters. And I hope it gets steamrolled into the next dimension.
So in other words, what you're saying, you're hoping that Godzilla just looks over to the screen where the X-Men is and just blasts and
that's what's gonna fucking happen.
I hope that
I want to see a meme of that. When Godzilla beats X-Men Phoenix, I want someone to make a meme of Godzilla blasting the hell out.
Yeah.
And then I want Marvel to congratulate him.
Yes.
Kicking fucking X-Men's ass.
So I actually didn't hear that this was this bad, but this sounds pretty bad. If it's three screens, that's bad.
Things that are supposed to be depressing, people are coming out laughing.
And I heard that New Mutants, like Netflix. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So they don't get another loss like Inhumans. They're going to slip it to Netflix.
That's not definite, though.
Well, let me tell you what. Let me tell you this, though. If they both fail, Dark Phoenix and New Mutants, that is Marvel's cue to reboot it.
Well, Marvel doesn't want them out, but they have no choice because it was before the.
Well, they have to. I'm saying that is their cue to just reboot it in the MCU.
Well, they're going to reboot everything.
They have.
It's going to be wiped.
I mean, there's no other choice.
I heard that they're going to have Doctor Strange involved with Deadpool because Deadpool is effing up the timeline because he's got a time machine thing. He's going around screwing around, and he killed himself in that universe with Wolverine. He's altering everything.
Yeah.
And supposedly that could be a way that you bring him into MCU because he's destroying his own universe.
They could do a version
and Doctor Strange has to fix it.
Kills the Marvel characters in a way.
I mean, I don't know, but that's a funny way they ended Deadpool 2, though.
Mm.
And the girl's like, I think this was a bad idea, fixing the Cable's time machine. And Deadpool's having fun. He killed Ryan Reynolds before he filmed Green Lantern. Did you see that? You didn't see
No, I didn't see it. I heard it.
That's part of the Easter eggs.
That is great.
I applauded when he did that.
It's great.
No,
I love it that he went to the timeline where he didn't have a mouth and he killed himself.
Yeah, from Origin.
What about
that's great.
Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman commercial?
Right.
Have you seen that one? The one where one's doing
I love that.
The other one's doing the
make Deadpool be the reason they come to the MCU.
Yeah.
And I like it that the MCU granted him special privileges permission to do Deadpool 3 at Fox, even though they have him.
Yeah.
Like, it's all right.
I heard those talk about them allowing him to do that, even if
he will in MCU, but they're allowing him to finish off the trilogy. Yeah. That's good. All right, we're out of time, but we're going to have to come back. All right, guys. Take care. Bye for now.